So, welcome back to Unmute Your Mind, the podcast, where we have real conversations about healing, growth, resilience, and finding the courage to unmute parts of ourselves we've kept silent. I'm your host, Rochelle, and today's conversation is one I know will resonate with so many people. Sometimes life doesn't go according to plan. Sometimes the marriage ends, the finances disappear, the career changes, the dreams you built your identity around begin to crumble. But what if losing everything wasn't the end? What if it was the beginning of finally finding yourself? So today's guest is Heather Mahoney, author, speaker, coach, and creator of the Life Map Compass. She has turned one of the hardest seasons of her life into a roadmap for helping others rediscover clarity, self-trust, and purpose. Heather, welcome to Unmute Your Mind.
Well, thank you, Rochelle. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, and thank you for answering the call out that I had. I wanted to get faces that people don't see every day on my platform. So I appreciate you answering the call. I really do. So
Welcome.
this is just a little icebreaker question. And I always like to start with something simple. So the first question, if you could describe this season of your life in just one word, what would it be and why?
Easy word. Unbelievable. Why?
Mm,
I never thought I would have the courage to do what I am doing in this moment. And it's unbelievable that I get to do it and I am enjoying every single moment of it.
awesome. I love that. So to start, we're going to go back to the beginning. So take us back. Who was Heather before everything changed?
Heather was a go getter. Heather was a senior HR executive.
Mm,
Heather was a mom. Heather was a volunteer guru. Heather was a hero to everyone else on the planet except to Heather.
mm. And living in that, how did that feel in that season?
It felt really, really good. No, growing up and where my mom and my sisters and brother came from, it was like I was the youngest of four and I was elevated myself to be in what it was. I had a college degree, I had a master's, I had my
Mhm.
own home. It was brilliant. I was
Right.
doing it. I was it.
Okay. So what did you think your life was going to look like then?
Then I was married and I had one child and
Okay.
I was leading a HR team of 100 employees and it was
Mm,
really good. And, I got what I wanted, bought what I wanted, did what I wanted to do. But what happened was I just didn't feel comfortable in that skin and I didn't know what it was. I just knew I wasn't comfortable.
right.
And my now ex-husband helped me to find that. I wasn't happy in the moment, but he helped me to later find that.
Okay. So when did you first realize your life was taking a completely different direction?
When he came in and said to me that Wednesday night, "Can we talk?" And I'm like, "Okay, let's talk."
Mhm.
And it was a quick talk, small talk.
Right.
Says, "I filed for divorce, you'll be served next week." That was the talk.
Oh, wow. How did that make you feel in that moment?
Angry,
Mhm.
hurt, disappointed, frustrated, annoyed.
Mm,
It was unbelievable. It was shocking. It was
mhm.
painful. It was all of those things wrapped into one.
Right. So you talked about divorce and going through that. What was the hardest part? Not financially or anything like that, but emotionally, what was the hardest part?
Admitting that I couldn't do it by myself.
Okay. And why was that?
because I was raised in the belief that I didn't need anybody to help me to do anything.
Mhm.
And therefore, when everything happened and I was now out on my own, I had to do something by myself. I honestly was like a deer in a headlight. I didn't really know what to do or how to do it. And and it was such a false belief because I could, but I
Mhm.
just didn't believe I was able to do that.
Mm. So did you ever question your worth during that season?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I question my worth, my value, my existence, my
Mhm.
happiness. I question everything.
Mm.
And the
Okay.
answers weren't good.
We're not good.
They were not good.
Why do you feel like when we're heartbroken that we think the worst of ourselves?
Because for me, I
Mhm.
put so much trust or so much of myself into that other person. And to be rejected, doesn't matter how, to be
Mhm.
rejected is just what didn't feel good. It doesn't
Gotcha.
feel good.
No, it never feels good because me going through what I'm going through now, even though I was the one who filed, I truly thought filing would make him wanna do different, but when it didn't happen that way, it's like a form of rejection. Like,
Yeah.
"Okay, guess you really didn't want this even though you said you did," type thing. So I get that. Yeah,
Yeah. That was hard.
yeah. What was the lowest point where you honestly wondered if you ever recover?
The lowest point, believe it or not, it's a funny story. The lowest point at the time,
Mhm.
the water got shut off, and I live in a area of my city where we don't have sewer systems, so it was on septic,
Okay.
and the septic overflowed.
Ooh.
And I said to myself at the time,
Mhm.
you don't have the resources to get yourself out of this quagmire of a mess. Seriously? I couldn't believe it. There was no lower for me at that moment. That was the lowest point in this entire journey, was that moment when that happened and I couldn't fix it.
Mm. 'Cause you were used to fixing everything.
I was used to fixing it and I was used to having the resources to do whatever I needed, and I didn't.
Mm,
And that was shameful.
gotcha. So being, because you said you were a senior HR, so being in that role, you make a good, decent living. So how
Mhm.
did you get to that part where your water bill couldn't even be paid?
A couple of things. The divorce happened.
Mhm.
I was no longer working. I had a lot of health challenges coming out of pregnancy,
Okay.
and that continued, and it just got overwhelmed with everything.
Okay. And did you have the help of your family, friends, or any of that?
I did not know how to ask.
That's a woman's pride. I swear we are so prideful when because we will not ask anybody for anything at all. Even in our lowest, we still won't ask.
I did not know how.
Mm.
I didn't know how to say, "Can you help me? Would you help me?" I didn't know that. But, you know, long story short, something happened incredible out of that circumstances. I had previously worked for an attorney
Okay.
and we remained friends and we
Mhm.
still are friends. And I don't know if he called me or I called him, but I think he called me and we were talking about what was going on in my life. And I says, and I told him the story, etc. And he said, "You need an attorney." And he didn't practice divorce law or family
Mhm.
law. And he said, "You need an attorney." And he went out, he got an attorney,
Mm.
he paid for the attorney, he supervised the attorney. I end up getting a really amazing attorney for my divorce, and I never paid a penny.
Oh, wow. That's a blessing.
It was a blessing, but it taught me something else. It taught me to believe that even at your lowest point, people are there when you are able to ask because people always want to support you. I never knew that before. And that
Mhm,
was such an amazing lesson. And I think since that moment, I was able to regroup, put
mhm.
my big girl clothes on, and started to walk again because things changed. Didn't exactly change the next moment.
Right.
I, s- it, I started to move forward on my path.
Okay. Well, that leads us right into rediscovering yourself. So, you said one of the biggest questions you had. What was one of the biggest questions you had when you started rediscovering yourself?
Who is Heather and what does she want?
Mhm. Wow, that resonated with me because going through this and trying to figure out my first question was, who is Rochelle outside of wife and mom and friend and sister? Who is she?
Right.
And I couldn't answer that in the beginning.
I couldn't. It took me 7 years,
Mm.
7 years to answer that question. And that's where the book came out.
And you know what? That's 7 is the number 7 is completion.
Okay.
Did you ever
Yeah.
know that? Like,
No.
7 is like completion. 7 means completion.
Okay.
And there you
Okay.
are, you wrote your book and found out who you were in 7 years.
Yes, I did.
Wow. So who are you now?
I am an amazing, fabulous woman
Mhm,
who is not afraid to say no and who takes ownership of what pimples she has on her face
mhm.
and own it proudly.
I love that.
And I like one of my biggest joy in life is going to rock concerts. I make no excuses.
Mhm. And you
I
shouldn't.
go and I travel to see my favorite band, which are the Eagles, and
Okay.
I've seen them 40 times. And I go back to Vegas a lot to see them, but that's okay because I make no excuses.
Exactly. You're living your life one moment at a time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So who did you I know you told me who you were, but who did you discover underneath all of those titles of now ex-wife and mom and friend? Like, once you pulled all those layers off, who did you see then?
We saw Heather. Really, I saw her as this pretender in a life to a person that no longer pretends about anything. You
Mhm.
know, I would pretend to my friends that my marriage was good or my life was good. I just don't have time for that.
He says you can't do it.
I just, this is who I am. And my son today, if he says something or he calls me out on something and he says, "You always do that." I said, "But I'm consistent."
That's a good one. I'm consistent. It's not changing. It's hey.
Yeah, crazy me. But I know the things that brings me joy
Mhm.
and I know the things that do not. And before I would say yes to be your hero.
Mhm.
I don't do that anymore. I'm not anyone's hero but my own self. And 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 what I found out was
Mhm.
that when I was trying to be somebody's hero in all of this, I was trying to be liked. and to be loved. And it's like, oh my God, I'm compromising myself. No,
Mhm.
I'm not doing that. And I don't, because it doesn't feel good anymore. I have this little compass that I designed for myself.
Mhm.
It's called my north, south, east, and west. The north on my compass is my vision. My south is my truth. The east is my action, and
Okay.
the west is my acceptance. And I have 4 songs that I listen to every day on my playlist
Mhm.
that coordinates with those particular coordinates and direction. Every single day, I listen to these and it grounds me, it focuses me, it moves me and propels me into action,
Mhm.
and it allows me to accept those things that I need to accept in order to move forward.
Mm.
Mm.
I like that. I really do. Was rediscovering yourself exciting or scary?
At first, it was scary, but now it's the thrill of my life.
Mhm.
Because as I said before, this is the best time of my life, and I'm not saying it to impress you.
Mhm.
I'm saying it because I believe it in my heart, and
Right.
it's true, and it resonates for me. This is the best period of my life.
Mm. Okay. What were the steps you took to rediscover yourself?
The steps that I took was, written in my book, but basic step number 1 for me is asking
Mhm.
questions.
Mm.
And I found out the more questions I asked, the clearer
Mhm.
it became for me.
Okay.
So step 1, that was step 1. But, if I go back to my compass of my
Mhm.
vision, it's like, you asked me, who is Heather now? I needed to figure out what I wanted and who I was in doing that. I also needed to own the things about myself that did not serve me.
Mhm.
And that was 1, being a hero, and 2, telling me these stories, telling myself these stories in my head that I accepted as truth when I knew they weren't,
Mm.
but I believed them. So I
Right.
needed to stop that.
Okay.
And then the next thing was, which is my ease, is action. I need to take action. I told you that I couldn't pay for the septic tank replacement.
Mhm.
In that time or since that time, I paid off my house. I have paid off all my credit card debt. I have no debt. My son's education, he's now a senior in college. He will graduate in December. No financial responsibility owed to anything. And he will
Nice.
have a good nest egg coming out of college to start off with. And I have set myself up where when I said I needed to start over, I even
Mm.
needed to start over with retirement.
Mm.
And I have helped myself to propel myself in a way that is becoming clearer each day,
Nice.
you know. So, and last is the truth. Accept it. It may not be nice, it may not feel good, but you got to accept it and own it as to who you are. And when you do, for me, when I did all of this,
Mhm.
I was able to move forward with self trust, clarity, and forward movement.
Mm. So I know you talked about your book. What's the name of your book?
Designing your life's roadmap, 8 steps to exit the pretender highway.
Okay. Nice. I'm gonna look that up because I'm designing my new roadmap.
Yes, you are.
I didn't realize that this conversation was like my life, like what I'm living right now. So But I appreciate it though because some of the things I needed to hear. We don't realize that when we're going through, we need to hear certain things. I don't know how to say it. Like I could tell my son to do something and he won't, but somebody else tells him the same thing and it comes from somebody else, he may listen.
Correct.
So that's kind of what I'm feeling right now. Like, okay, so many people told me you need to do this, and this, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, okay. But coming from someone one that I don't know, and two who has lived the experience already that I'm living, I can take it in differently.
Right.
And I think that's one of the hardest things is to take advice or live the advice of someone who you know, for one, because you know everything they've been through. It's like you trying to give me
It's
advice.
right. And then, the hardest part was like, I never wanted to admit that I failed.
Hmm.
Even with the marriage, I didn't want to admit that I failed. And I had to face friends and family and say, I failed. Oh my
Hmm.
God, that was horrible.
That's what I'm dealing
But,
with now. I don't like to fail.
but, I told you I was angry, hurt, pissed off, and everything else at
Hmm.
him for what he did and how he did it.
Hmm.
Today, I am so grateful that he gave me the opportunity to emancipate myself. What I mean by that, I would never have the courage
Hmm.
to have, I've always wanted to write a book. I would never have done that.
Wow.
I always wanted to own my own business. I would never have done that.
Right.
But I had no choice. And that came out of it. And today I'm so grateful. Here's a short little weird story.
Hmm.
Unfortunately for him, he tried to hurt himself later on. I released so much anger in my process of me that today I am helping him with his medical bills and insurances.
Wow.
Not because of him, but because at the end of the day, he's the father of my child.
Hmm.
And I would do anything for my child.
Right.
And part of that is to help him. And
Gotcha.
that's okay. And there's no anger to it. There's no, I'm a hero. There's nothing to it. Is that I am doing this because of my child.
Gotcha. That's powerful to be able to go back and help someone who hurt you in essence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, and he's not a stranger in my
Hmm.
life, but there is no emotional attachment towards this man.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's the father of my son.
Okay.
That's it.
And it took work to get there. It took work to get to that level.
There was a lot of lonely nights with pen
Yeah.
and paper. I'm old school,
Mhm. Mhm.
with pen and paper, writing it out and scratching it out. No, 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 no. This is not right. This is not right.
Right.
But I can't tell you how at peace I am. My blood pressure is now normal. It
Right.
wasn't for a long time. It's normal because I'm just not stressed about those external things that I can't control, but I can
Mhm.
control this space.
Yes.
And I do that well these days.
Mm. So how do you before we move on, because I have a quick question, because going through the divorce and all of that is teaching me that I don't want to deal with anybody else's disturbance of my peace, whether it's family, friends, whoever it is. Did you go through that too?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But you have to ask yourself, does it serve you?
Mhm.
And does it take you closer to where you want to be? And if it doesn't, the answer is no.
Okay.
You
So
know,
did you lose friends along the way?
I did not. You know what I found out?
What was that?
I found out that they were better friends.
Mm,
I did because I was so afraid in the beginning or throughout the friendship to ask them and to share things with them.
mhm,
And now I can.
gotcha.
And that is such a great knowing that you have one of the hardest thing for me was coming out of the divorce was knowing that my back was covered. It's not here, but in my bedroom, I have that paper that I wrote that on to say, I know when my back is covered when these events happen
Mm,
because it's evidence.
right.
It's tangible. I can touch it. And the biggest one for me was I know my back is covered when my son was in middle school when he was picked up from school and I didn't have to worry about paying aftercare fee that I didn't have. One. And two was that people stopped their cars in the middle of the road and asked me if I need help. That's crazy insane, right?
Mhm.
It happened.
Wow.
My son and I was pulling a sofa from the house to curbside pickup, and this guy in a white Nissan Armada stopped his vehicle. Do you
Mm.
need help? I ran into that house screaming to show him where it was on the wall to say, this is real. And I knew things were real. Things were
Okay.
happening and they can happen.
Mhm,
And if I trust myself and I trust the people that I chose or are my blood relatives to me as
mhm.
family, and I chose them as family, then you know what? I could call them at any time, night or day. They would pick up the phone and they would say, okay. And that's what I found out.
Wow. Okay. Making me emotional over here. So I love that you talk about self-trust because that's something that I struggle with. So why do you think so many women blah, blah, why do you think so many women struggle trusting themselves?
Because they tend to place that responsibility on somebody else.
Mhm.
And if they were like me, they didn't want to be judged, they didn't want to be embarrassed, and they didn't want to fail. So that when I could go out there and fail, it's okay because
Right.
I learned. When I don't give you the responsibility for my emotions, it's okay. And it's a gradual thing that happens
Mhm.
because over time, as we take our time to go through all of the different emotions that we're going to go through and you're going to go through, you'll see that, oh my goodness, I can do that. I did that. And if you keep track of the evidence,
Mhm.
put it on paper so that when it happens, you can see it. That self trust is an amazing tool that no one will ever take away from you ever again because you will not concede that to somebody else to take care of it for you.
Right. Okay. What did rebuilding self-trust actually look like?
It felt like joy. It felt like I was on fire.
Mhm.
It felt easy. I had a pep in my step,
Mm,
smile on my face, and I became approachable.
nice. Were there moments you wanted someone else to make decisions for you?
At the start, I did.
Mhm.
Now I would never, ever give that away.
Mm,
Yeah. I own my decisions, and they're the right decisions for me that I make. And I don't want to make them because it brings you joy or happiness or makes you whatever way it is. I make the decision because they're the right decisions for me.
Right. So what advice would you give someone who no longer trusts themselves?
Look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, who are you? And why is it so important for you to let go of who you are and see that to the person standing beside you or in front of you or behind you?
Mhm.
Because even if it's your partner, you don't want that partner to walk ahead of you or to walk behind you. You want that partner to walk beside you. And if they're not willing to walk beside you, that's not your partner.
Mhm. Wow, that is a true statement. So starting over sounds beautiful until you're the one having to start over. How did you keep going when you couldn't see the finish line?
Well, at the end of the day,
Mhm.
I had a little boy that I needed to take care of,
Mhm.
and I had me that I needed to take care of.
Right.
And I wasn't going to get there by running. I was actually going to get there by walking. And as
Mhm.
I walked, I could take one step, one decision, one action, and keep moving forward. And that's how everything is from the business to my self trust to my clarity. Everything was one step at a time before it. Wow,
Mhm.
that's what happened because that shift is so gradual. You don't even see it coming
Mm.
because a lot of time we're anticipating the end 5 years, 5 months, 5 days before we get there. But
Right.
today's only what, Monday? Friday's not here yet. So
Mhm.
you need to go through. I read this book to my son when he was couldn't read or talk, and it was going on a bear hunt.
Oh, yep.
And the premise of the book is you can't go over it, you can't go under it, you got to go through it.
Yep.
So when you can't see the finish line, just remember you got to go through it.
Okay. What small victories kept you motivated?
I was going to get to the end. And there's a principle about that I follow. I'm a certified passion test facilitator, and that helps
Mhm.
you to identify your top 5 passions. And
Mm.
one of the premise in the passion test is don't worry about the how, just get clear on the why.
Mhm.
So you don't need to know all the steps.
Right.
Just get clear in the moment because everything else will unfold as it should.
Okay. So what did you have to let go of in order to move forward?
I had to let go of this belief that I was an island.
Mm.
I really needed to let go that, I was born in Jamaica, which is in an island.
You're right. Yep.
And my mother immigrated us to a place called the United States. Ooh. When I discovered that premise, as I was writing the book, it was like, oh, that
Mhm.
made me sit back because here's an island of one. And then I come to a place where there are 50 others that make up that one, and no one individual state is better than the next because you need all of them to be that united front.
Right.
So I remember that and I take care of that. I had to let go of that. And, I could turn that word instead of prime, I could turn it into another word and say being arrogant. I was extremely arrogant.
Okay. Mm. Starting over, you have to let go of so much. And that's what I'm learning. And I think that's why I'm so emotional in this conversation. It's crazy because out of all of my episodes, I have not cried. But I think it's because this one hits home. And I
Right,
didn't realize when you wrote me, I did not realize you was gonna have me on here crying. Because starting over is hard. And starting over is very hard, especially when you have special needs child. And I never thought that I would be where I am.
right,
No, don't get me wrong. I have going through this process. I met somebody else, and he's amazing. Like I never thought I would meet or fall in love going through divorce. I didn't want to, but it found me. I literally ran from it. But he has truly shown me the meaning of true love. Like out of all of my relationships, this is totally different. And I never want him to feel like what I'm going through and all of that, like he doesn't matter because he does. But I have to go through these steps to get to where I need to be.
right.
That's the hard part.
It will be hard, but you know, the amazing thing about it is that as you go through this and this person chooses to be your partner walking next to you as you go through this, you don't have to pretend to be anything other
Mhm.
than who you are in the moment. And
Right.
and that's what I found out in my process, in my journey, that I was pretending to be this person, feel this way when I didn't.
Mhm.
And that was the intangible that I couldn't touch. And once I let go and I said, this is me, I still have my insecurities, but I don't let them control who I am or who I know I can be. And And when you find, no, I'm not going to say find, when you accept that version of who you are, because who you are is there.
Mhm.
You may not have accepted all of it yet, but it's there.
Mhm.
And when you accept it, it's such a release of stress, physically and physiologically,
Mm.
that you could say to him, "Hey, want to do this today?" Or he says, "You want to do this?" No, it's okay. And there is no anger on
Mhm.
either side. It's like, it's okay.
Right.
It is absolutely okay. And the beauty about that is that you now get to show this amazing version of you to your child, and they will
Mhm.
feel it. Yeah. My son is today my best friend.
Mhm.
And I have such a great relationship with him that I don't get jealous if he goes here, does that. It's like, does his thing, I do my thing, and
Mhm.
it's okay. And when my partner comes into my life, or and people have tried, and it's like,
Mhm.
no, thank you. I
Right.
appreciate that, but that's not what I want.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
I could say no, and there's no guilt in there.
Right.
And it'd be, oh my God, it's so good. It feels really good. Feels really good.
Yeah. Yeah. Life map compass.
Yes.
Tell us about the life map compass.
The life map compass, like I said before, it's your north, south, east, and west.
Mhm.
Everything comes off that direction.
Mhm.
And a lot of the questions and tools that I use comes in how you see your vision.
Okay.
That's part is kind of easy.
Mhm.
The the three hardest part is your south, east, and west is the truth because you have to accept some truths about yourself
Mhm.
and learn from it. That was hard because some of it, as you said, and I say, I didn't want to learn. I didn't want to hear that
Mm.
because it didn't feel good.
Right.
And, you know, be disciplined to take the actions that you need to take in that sense. Yes. Do I want to do some soul searching today? No, but I need to.
Right.
Yeah. And I firmly believe you can't soul search unless you write it down and see it. You can't
Mm.
soul search in your head. And finding a partner,
Mhm.
I don't mean a male, could be anybody,
Right.
that you can bounce these thoughts, ideas off is the best thing ever. And finally, accepting these things that you were going through and seeing that they served you. You know,
Mhm.
I told you I love the Eagles. One of
Yes.
my favorite song by the Eagles is Wasted Time. The very last line in that song is, maybe it wasn't wasted time
Mm.
because all these lessons, all these actions, you went through them for a particular reason
Right.
because they shaped you. They defined you. They made you who you are. They created that resiliency in you. It
Mhm.
wasn't wasted time.
So where did the idea come from? From the life map compass? Where did that idea come from?
Well, roadmap was what I wanted to design when I did the book.
Mhm.
And a compass was, I stumbled on it. It was a compass and it had directions. But to be honest, I got a new car and on the dashboard there was a compass and it had north, south, east, and west. So it's like, ooh.
Mhm.
And I realized, everything that I was doing was turning in one of these directions.
Mm.
And we all turn in one of these directions every day, every moment. So it just became a natural extension of a compass, and I just attached the different things to it and
Okay.
the, my program.
Okay. So what makes it different from other personal development tools?
The difference in this is that I'm not getting you to discover anything.
Mhm.
I'm helping you to find who you are on the inside.
Mm.
And so I am just a facilitator helping you to explore, which is a compass.
I like that. All right. So I want to ask you a few quick questions. It's like
Sure.
finish the sentence. Today I choose to unmute what?
The noise in my head,
Mm, okay. Healing taught me
resiliency,
I finally forgave myself for
being me.
mm, the strongest version of me is
The strongest version of me is dynamic.
okay. And if I could speak to the woman I was 5 years ago, I'd tell her,
I will tell her, you'll find your joy.
mm, I like that. Okay. So rapid fire is like a this or that type thing. Coffee or tea?
T,
Morning or night?
both. I wake up in the morning and I go to sleep in the morning.
Both for you. Journal or voice notes?
Journal,
Okay. Mountains or beach?
mountains,
One book everyone should read.
who move my cheese.
Who Moved My Cheese? Okay. Who is that by?
I want to Spencer. Ooh, what's his name? It's a 10-minute read.
Okay. Okay. I'll look it up and put it out there.
It's
But
who will buy- you will see it on Amazon and crazy. It's about maybe 30, 40 years old now, but it's a
okay.
10-minute read and it's just there's so much lessons in that book.
Okay. Okay. And one word that describes Heather today.
One word that describe had passionate.
Passion. I like, okay. So my one final question. What does unmute your mind mean to you?
Unmute my mind. When I saw that, that was so amazing. It was like, oh my goodness. But, there's a lot of background chatter
Mm-hmm.
in our mind. And if we can release that chatter, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my son bought me a microphone the other day to reduce the outside noise, the external noises when I'm on a speaker.
Mm-hmm.
Unmute your mind is get rid of the bass or the tremble or anything like that. You know, do a cappella.
Mm.
Really, it's so clear.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
So one final thing before I go to my closing. Heather, if someone listening feels like they've lost everything today, what do you hope they remember when this episode ends?
It wasn't wasted time.
Mm-hmm. Man, I like how you brought that back around. I love that. So before I close, I want our listeners to take a moment to reflect. I always end my podcast with a unmute prompt for our listeners to journal on. So if you're listening today and you feel like you've lost everything, maybe your marriage, your finances, your identity, or simply the version of yourself you once knew, take a deep breath and finish this sentence. Today, I choose to trust myself enough to. And I want you to sit with that, write it down, say it out loud. Let today be the day you take one step toward rediscovering who you are. So, Heather, thank you so much for trusting me with your story today. I appreciate it. Your journey reminds me that sometimes losing what we thought defined us is exactly what allows us to discover who we truly are. And to everyone listening, again, maybe you're walking through divorce, maybe you've experienced financial hardship, and maybe you're grieving the life you thought you'd have. Don't let today's conversation convince you that you've lost yourself. Maybe you're simply meeting the version of you that was always waiting to emerge. So thank you for joining us for another episode of Unmute Your Mind. And if today's conversation touched you, encouraged you, or reminded you that you're not alone, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this episode with someone who needs it. And remember, unmute, speak, and live. Thank you again, Heather, for coming on and telling your story.
Thank you.
You're welcome.